Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Starcastic Remarks. The Stars lose with a final score of 3-2 against the Vegas Golden Knights in yet again 9 p.m. start that the Stars failed to succeed. We love these West Coast road trips so much. I'm Chris. I'm joined by my brother James. James, how did you feel about that game?
Yeah, I mean, I felt like for the most part, the Stars controlled a good portion of the game, and they took penalties. And the second they took penalties, the game was out of their hands. And it took a long time for them to get a hold of it again. And once they got a hold of it again, they took another penalty. And that was kind of just the story of the night.
Yeah, 100% agree. We'll just go ahead and jump right into it because I'm sure everyone is feeling this way after this game. And I'll preface it first. The Stars had every chance to win this game. They had tons of opportunities, and just like the last game against the Kings, didn't cash in when they had chances to score. That's the number one reason. You only scored 2 goals, you're probably not going to win the game. That being said, wow, that was the worst officiating we've seen all season, worst officiating we've seen in a while, I feel like. Yes, this is a Homer podcast, so you're going to get that opinion, so there you go. That's number one. But also, to back it up a little bit, the Stars are in the top 5 for least penalized teams in the league. They don't take many penalties. Also, Vegas is in the bottom 5 for drawn penalties in the league. They don't draw many calls. Tonight, Vegas went on the power play 6 times, including a 5-on-3, and scored 2 power play goals. 1 on the 5-on-3 and 1 on an extended man advantage due to really an unlucky double minor on the high stick. And it's not just that. Those are your stats to try and justify it a little bit beyond my homerism. But if you look at the game tonight too, there's just a ton of just whiff calls, I guess you would call it, and then some really weak calls for Vegas. So the obvious example is going to be the Marchment one. The start the third period, a puck goes in on Aiden Hill, and he gives him a snow shower, and that's an unsportsmanlike penalty. I have never seen that ever happen in hockey. To not touch somebody and get an unsportsmanlike penalty, that's crazy. That's literally insane. So that penalty should never happen. I've never seen it happen before. I saw a couple of people on Twitter say they've seen it, but it wasn't even an egregious snow shower, I don't think. Did you see that one, James? It was like a little one. Like I could have made a snow shower that big.
Yeah, that one's so confused, especially in a game where the other team is trailing 3-1. I mean, the Stars come into that period down 2 goals, and their second period goals from the Golden Knights too to get it. So the Stars want to come out strong this period, and yeah, they're gonna get in Hill's face. And Marchment just tries to show presence in front of the net after he freezes it, and they peg him for unsportsmanlike. I don't understand that at all. I don't get it.
And that's after Stone actively knocks over our goaltender in the crease. He got a small bump from Lyubushkin. That's true, but
he hit him in the head.
Knocked the goalie over. He hit him in the head. His glove hit him in the mask. So I don't know about
regardless that. Of if Lyubushkin pushed him or not, your arms don't fly forwards after you get a tiny shove in the back.
Correct. And after Marchment gets out of the box from his penalty, he goes on a breakaway, and a great save by Hill on that breakaway from Mush there. But he gets knocked into Hill after the breakaway, and Hill punches him in the face with the blocker.
And that's not called. That one made me more upset.
So honestly, to get this straight, Mason Marchment doesn't touch the goalie, gets an unsportsmanlike. The goalie punches Mason Marchment with his blocker, and there's no call. And then the even worse one, the Stars pull within 1 at the end of the game. Dodonov has the puck with speed behind the net, about to turn the corner and make a pass. He gets cross-checked in the lower back, knocked off the puck, and the puck is able to be cleared by the Knights.
And
there's all kinds of examples like that all game long that weren't called by Vegas, and the tiniest things were called on Dallas tonight. It was a horribly officiated game, and on top of that, the refs were in the way so many times tonight. It's an embarrassing game for the officials, is what I really thought.
And the third period one stings especially because the Stars were downhill for most of that period. I mean, there's only one penalty in that entire period, and it's on the Stars in the opening 8 seconds. And the Stars were just downhill the entire way with penalties being called 6-2. I mean, or that matters. It does, because officiating constantly tries to make it as even as possible, and it wasn't even close tonight.
It was not an evenly called game, and I'm not saying the penalties have to be even. If one team is doing more infractions, they should have more penalties against them. That wasn't the case. If you watch this game, you saw that this was not an evenly called game by the officials. And yeah, you mentioned that third period, James. Stars outshot the Knights 18-7 in the third period. And Vegas had the power play, the only power play of the period. That's crazy. I was super upset about that. I was going to talk about that off the top. I think I've got it mostly out of my system. We'll see if we come back to it before we end it tonight here. But
I'm sure I will.
Like, yeah, this is the second game in a row that the Stars only score 2 goals, and the second game in a row where they looked like they're playing pretty well. Stars get 40 shots tonight and only 2 goals, and it's really frustrating when your only offense is Mason Marchment. We need some more from mainly the big guys in Rope and Robertson. But I mean, you can also get some help on the back end from Ben and Johnston whenever they got scrambled in that third period too, and we're not getting anything.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's the last 3 games now that the Stars have only scored 2 goals, so 6 goals in the last 3 games.
Yeah, and that's been the big problem with the Stars so far this year. Our defense has actually been really good for how much we've bagged on the bottom right side of our blue line, but our overall team defense has been very solid this year. Our goaltending has been very good. And yeah, once again, we lose a game where we only let the other team score 3 goals.
Yeah. And it's happened multiple times this season already. I mean, basically if the other team makes it to 3, the game's over. The Stars have only won 2 games if the opposing team makes it to 3.
Yeah, and that is a horrible stat, especially for a team that did so well offensively last year. And I think this is really keying on the problem, and this is a problem that we solved last season with scoring with multiple lines, and we talk about each line picking up slack when the other one kind of drops off a little bit. It's not happening. I mean, the Duchesne line is the only line that's creating offense, the only line that's scoring. Duchesne and Mason Marchment specifically even are the ones that are controlling these hockey games for the Stars when they get any kind of offense, and there's almost nothing from anyone else, it feels like. And that is not at all how the Stars became a top team last year. And we keep saying, just wait, these guys are going to fix it. They're going to figure it out. And it keeps not happening.
And I mean, there's still a lot of time left in the season.
We're still in
There's
December.
A lot of time left to fix it. This is fresh off of a big blow to the locker room and Seguin being out as well. It's tough. People have talked about how Seguin is kind of more the vocal leader in the locker room, so that it's going to be tough for a little bit. But at the same time, this is when you got to have the people who are supposed to be your big guys play well, and you're not seeing that from Rope and Robo especially.
Yeah. Another challenge to point out before we look at some of the positives from tonight. The Stars road record this season, 6-8. So 8 of our 10 losses have come on the road this year. Complete flip from last season. We talked about in the preseason how it would be a big deal about getting wins at home. And it was especially a focus for us for Otter to be better at home. And they've done that, and it's come at the cost of their road record, unfortunately.
Yeah. And maybe that's something that they can bank on in the next 6 games, because they're about to go on their really big home stretch. So hopefully that's something that they can continue out of this game. I guess that's kind of a positive to this, is that they are ending essentially what is like a pretty long road trip besides the one home game in there against Colorado or whatever it was. But so hopefully they can come back home now and continue their winning ways there.
Yeah. On to some positive stuff tonight. Mason Marchment. This might have been the best game he played all season, and somehow he only scored 1 goal. I mean, if you want to talk about what's Mason Marchment's play style, this game is a perfect highlight of it. He's skilled, he's fast, he's physical, he's chaotic. That's the word that comes to mind for me, is just chaos. And he displayed it tonight. He played fantastic, was in everybody's face, causing all kinds of problems on the ice. I thought this was his best game of the year.
Yeah, I mean, he could have had a hat trick in this game, and that I mostly just listened to this game, so that tells you how much he was doing everywhere.
Yeah, he was absolutely fantastic. That line has been fantastic all year long. With Sagan being out, as you mentioned, James Stankoven slots into that spot on their line, and he fits like a glove. It feels like he's just like 6 inches too short to be there. But
Yeah.
other than that, he has the same physicality and the word I always use for Stankoven is the tenacity for the puck. He's doing that still, making good plays. I love Stankoven on that line. Obviously, it's working. They're still scoring at least 1 per game, pretty much every single game. So that line is really the shining spot in the Stars tonight. They were fantastic.
Yeah. They had 15 shots combined.
That is crazy.
That's pretty nuts for them.
Yeah, that's nuts. That's nuts for anybody. And for that to be what's supposed to be our second line, it's really been our first line so far this year. Whoever's been on that line has been the top 3 scorers. But that's great if we can get, like we said in the beginning of the podcast, we can get our big guys rolling like we need them to, then that's going to be huge come playoff time. What's another good thing, James? I'm trying to think, and I'm coming up short. I liked all the shots. I mean, like you said, we controlled most of this game, and that's what made the penalties even more frustrating. But possession, shots, puck battles, Stars did really well in those areas, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a tough one too, because Vegas is coming into this and remembering the Stars ending their postseason in Game 7. So that's another tough one, especially when you're talking about the Stars they're on a really tough stretch of games where they're playing a ton, and it's going to be hard. And really tonight, I feel like they have less of an excuse in the Kings game, because Kings game, you're still kind of feeling that 3 games in 4 nights. But this one, I mean, you should be back up to speed, and it didn't fully feel like that. They're still playing well, just like they played well against the Kings. It's just you gotta be able to score more. You gotta be able to execute more.
Yeah, definitely the offense and the execution more so than just the offense. That's absolutely correct, because we're getting chances. 40 shots on goal, tons of chances. Advanced Analytics loves the Stars tonight. They thought Advanced Analytics thought we did well and should have won the game. So yeah, I fully agree. It's that finishing. And when you talk about finishing, that's when you're talking about those big players. You're talking about Rope Hintz, Robo, Johnston.
You talk about the disallowed goal if you want to.
Oh, right. I completely forgot about that. The first goal scored by Robo, in a good play for a guy that needs to start scrapping to get goals if they're not going in carefully. He does exactly that. He drives the net and lodges a puck free and bats it in, called back for goalie interference. Yeah. I'm kind of back and forth on that one.
2 years ago, it's a goal. This year, it's not a goal. That's basically what it is. The way they're calling it, it's not a goal, but it's so stupid. Yeah. Hill has it for maybe like 0.2 of a second,
Yeah. And the other thing, not only the rule hasn't changed in those 2 years, by the way. Just if y'all are wondering, rule hasn't changed, but absolutely the rule has changed if you really look at how they're calling it.
Based off the way, yeah.
And not only is that a goal 2 years ago, that's a goal in the playoffs today. Like, if this is a playoff game, that's a goal. I don't think there's a chance that gets called back. So, personally, I think that shouldn't be a goal. I don't want us to be bludgeoning goalies to knock pucks loose. I get an old-timer thing is that you want to go after the puck until the whistle blows. Fair enough. I'd rather see good saves and good goals more than I'd like to see bludgeon pucks in. So as long as that stays consistent throughout the year, I'm not going to get too hacked off about it. But as soon as Otter's glove gets hacked at and the goal's allowed, then I'm going to be upset.
Yeah, I feel like this one would have been very different if Hill's trying to cover the puck outside of the blue crease as well. I mean, the puck's fully in the blue crease. Hill has his glove over the puck in the blue crease, even if it's for milliseconds. It shouldn't be allowed. It really shouldn't. It's just it's annoying that there's no clarity on the rule at all.
Right, and this is what we're gonna complain about forever. And unfortunately, for a rule like goalie interference on stuff like that, I don't know if there really is going to be much clarity. And if you think about it, the one year they tried to bring clarity to it, 1999, the infamous Brett Hull goal, you weren't allowed to be in the crease before the puck was and score. I think was the rule, and that was horrible. So it's it's just a tough rule to adjudicate, but they also don't do a good job of it. So that was very frustrating, and especially for Robo too. Like that's exactly what you want to see him doing. You want to see like, hey, you're not scoring in a pretty way. You're not scoring with your shot that you've been relying on. Okay, attack the net, and that's exactly what he did, and he gets it ripped away from him, and that can't be good for his confidence.
I mean, you got to tell him that that's exactly what you need to do over and over and over again. And if he starts going to the net like that, his hands are quick, and he's going to get goals that way. I mean, it's something we haven't seen from him is his net front presence. It's been basically non-existent this season.
Yeah. So over to some more comments. We'll pull up Zach's comment here. I'm not going to read all of it, but I'll sum it up. He says he gives them a little slack for the officiating. And yeah, that's kind of 2 games in a row. I feel like we're kind of cutting the Stars some slack for these last 2 losses. Last game, weird puck bounce. If you watch that game, it was an odd game. Like Stars probably win that game 9 times out of 10, and that was the one. And then this game, yeah, weird officiating. Like how many games are you going to see where penalties are 6-2 against 2 of the top tier teams in the league? It's not going to happen very often. So I agree. I'm giving a little slack on this one too, but man, offense has got to come. Like we said, past 3 games, only 2 goals. It's not going to cut it.
It really comes down to execution is what it is.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Here from Score, he said, saw at least 3 Vegas tripping penalties against the Stars in front of the refs and no calls. Yeah, 100% agree. There was a lot of calls that you can go back and look at. And I'd be hard-pressed to find a Stars penalty that was a no call. So, and especially, I didn't mention this one at the top. See, I knew I was going to get back into before we closed out.
We made it back. Full circle.
We made it we full circle. But the call on Borque to get the 5-on-3, that is never a tripping penalty on a 5-on-3. It's not. It has to be egregious. It has to be obvious. That was not egregious, nor was it obvious. It was an incidental skate contact, and we're going to call that a penalty to give them a full minute 5-on-3. That's ridiculous. It's not ever called that way.
Even the original call slashing on Sam Steele isn't a good call either. He's stick checking the dude, and Hurdle's stick breaks. I mean, it's unfortunate. The refs are probably going to call that one every time just because of the situation. Yeah. But it's just a stick check, and the stick snaps. I mean, there's nothing weird about that play. Steele isn't like tomahawking the dude's stick, but it's a weird one. And then you think about the Rope one too, where Rope's
the Rope one is terrible. That's probably the worst call of the game.
He's just playing physical, is what it is. He's playing physical. He gets to the puck because of it, and I mean, both refs were going to call it. So,
which is crazy to me. I mean, Rope's skating towards the puck, and the dude runs into him pretty much. Like Rope's not looking for a hit there. He's being strong in his skates. Yeah, he's going towards the puck, which is on the boards, and the guy falls over.
And he instantly touches the puck too. It's not like there's a hit and then a few seconds and then he gets the puck. I mean, he runs into the dude and then touches the puck almost instantly after.
Yeah. So.
And now we've talked about all the penalties.
Yeah, we full circled back to all the penalties. It was super frustrating, really annoying. I don't know why I always expect this is going to be the West Coast road trip that the Stars are going to break the funk. But it never happens. Like if you're a Stars fan that skips the West Coast road trips and just sleeps, you're doing it right because it's never anything good that comes out of them. It's so frustrating. Luckily, we won't have to go back there for at least a little bit. We'll have a one-off in Utah later, but yeah, really frustrated. Let's do biggest winner, biggest loser. Who you got, James?
Biggest winner. I'm going to give to Borque. That's his first goal on U.S. soil or North American soil in general. Yeah. So it's just hunting for him. He was at the right place at the right time, and that's the kind of hockey IQ that you kind of see from him.
Yeah, good scrappy goal too. Good fourth line goal, just finding the puck in the crease and wheeling it home. That was good. That earned him kind of a promotion a little bit in that third period, bumping up to a line with Ben and Johnston that I thought was better. It still didn't create enough. I feel like we'll see what happens moving forward, but I think some line shakeups probably are in order for the next game against the Flames. But yeah, I liked what Bork did too. I'm giving mine to Mush. I talked about him off the top. I really think that was an amazing game for Marchment. And I just love when he plays with that chaos, like right on the edge of the law, really pushing everybody's buttons, getting in the goalie's face. He had Aiden Hill rattled. Hill was playing a great game up to that point. So I like him going up and giving him a snow shower, getting in his face, bumping him around a little bit. I mean, you've got to shake him off somehow. Unfortunate that a snow shower is called a penalty. I didn't realize this was basketball, but I guess
that's exactly what I thought when I saw the penalty.
Yeah.
It was such like a stupid call.
And normally when you're calling a call weak, you say it's a touch foul. It wasn't a touch foul. He didn't touch him.
He didn't touch him.
He literally did not touch the guy.
I don't know what to call it.
So yeah, I don't know. We got back to it again. Biggest loser, James.
Biggest loser. I'm gonna give to Logan Stankoven. He had 7 shots on the night, which is kind of ridiculous. And this is where I really just come back to execution more than anything. You got to start putting some of these in the back of the net. Logan Stankoven is fitting in great on that line. He's got to start sinking some of his shots.
Yep, 100% agree. Looking great, doing everything right. You gotta score. When you're only getting 2 goals a game, shut up, go score. That's what it's gotta be. I'm giving mine to Rope Hintz. I thought he was kind of invisible tonight, which is a crazy thing to say about Rope Hintz, who's probably the most skilled guy on the Stars lineup. He finishes the night with 1 shot on goal, and a penalty, which who knows with these penalties. That might have been he might have blew a kiss to somebody, and that might have been called a penalty. But yeah, not a great game by Rope. He's got to create impact, especially in a low-scoring game like this. This is a situation where you want to see Rope Hintz flying through the neutral zone and making a big play. And we just haven't seen that. And a lot this year, even if he does get that spot, he's missing the net, missing these breakaway goals. So yeah, these big guys got to step up. We've hammered that to the ground tonight, but the guys you're paying to score have got to start scoring, and it's not happening. So any last thoughts on the game tonight, James, before we move on to Sunday?
Nope.
Nice. Good thinking sound. The Stars will play Calgary Flames at home to start their season long, I think was said on the broadcast. 6-game road trip. That'll take us
homestand.
6-game homestand. Thank you. My goodness. That'll take us from December 8th to December 20th. So 2 full weeks at American Airlines Center. That should be fun. You can check back with us right here after the game for a post-game review for that. Be sure to check out our sponsors, DraftKings and Game Time. Use that promo code THPN to get some free goodies from them. From Game Time, you can actually go into their app right now, go to the settings, and go to promo codes. You can type in THPN. It will automatically give you $20 off the next time you use Game Time. Do it right now so you don't forget about it. It'll automatically apply next time you use Game Time. And be sure to use their all-in feature. That shows you the full price with fees. It's actually super helpful to actually find what you're going to pay and make sure you're actually getting a good deal and you're not getting tricked by a $30 fee per ticket, which happens all the time and is extremely frustrating. So please check out those guys. When you help them out, you're helping us out, especially when you use those promo codes. So be sure to check them out, and we will be back with you guys on Sunday night.